In a busy small claims courtroom, the bailiff calls the next case. Case number 318, Sarah Mitchell versus Kevin Brooks. The plaintiff, Sarah Mitchell, walks confidently to the front while the defendant, Kevin Brooks, stands on the opposite side looking slightly uneasy. Judge Judy enters the courtroom, her sharp eyes scanning both sides as she sits down behind the bench. She adjusts her glasses and says firmly, "All right, let's get started, Ms. Mitchell. You're suing Mr. Brooks for $2,000. Tell me why." Sarah takes a deep breath and begins explaining. She says that Kevin is her former roommate and close friend. About 4 months ago, Kevin told her he was having serious financial trouble and needed help paying his car repair bill so he could keep his job. According to Sarah, Kevin promised he would pay the money back within 2 months once he got his next few paychecks. Sarah says she trusted him because they had been friends for years, so she transferred the money directly to his bank account. She even shows Judge Judy a printed bank transfer receipt to prove the payment. Judge Judy studies the paper carefully and then looks at Kevin. "Mr. Brooks, did you receive this money?" she asks. Kevin nods and says yes, he did receive it, but he claims the situation is being misunderstood. He explains that Sarah didn't just give him the money as a loan. According to Kevin, the money was supposed to be part of a shared plan to start a small online business selling used electronics. Kevin says they had talked about it for weeks, and Sarah agreed to invest the money so they could buy inventory and split the profits later. Judge Judy raises her eyebrow and looks back at Sarah. "Did you invest in his business? Or did you lend him money for car repairs?" she asks. Sarah immediately shakes her head and says the business idea was only something Kevin mentioned casually one day, but the $2,000 was absolutely a loan for his car repair. She explains that Kevin's car had broken down and he was worried about losing his job because he couldn't get to work. She adds that she even drove him to the repair shop that same week. Judge Judy turns back to Kevin again. "Do you have any written agreement, text messages, or emails showing that this was an investment?" Kevin hesitates for a moment before saying he doesn't have anything written down. However, he insists they talked about it several times and that Sarah knew about the plan. Judge Judy leans forward slightly and says, "In this courtroom, I deal with evidence, not stories." She then asks Sarah if she has any communication that supports her claim. Sarah quickly hands over several printed text messages from her phone. Judge Judy reads them silently for a few seconds before looking up again. Judge Judy leans forward slightly and says, "In this courtroom, I deal with evidence, not stories." She then asks Sarah if she has any communication that supports her claim. Sarah quickly hands over several printed text messages from her phone. Judge Judy reads them silently for a few seconds before looking up again. In the messages, Kevin clearly thanks Sarah for lending him the money and promises to start paying her back once he receives his next paycheck. One message even says, "I swear I'll pay you back every dollar. Thank you for helping me fix my car." Judge Judy taps the paper on her desk and looks directly at Kevin. "Mr. Brooks," she says firmly, "these messages say the word lend. That doesn't sound like an investment to me." Kevin shifts uncomfortably and says that at the time he used the word lend, but he still believed the money would eventually be used for their business idea. Judge Judy shakes her head slightly. She asks Kevin a final question. "Have you paid Ms. Mitchell even $1 back since receiving the money?" Kevin quietly admits that he has not made any payments, yet because he has been dealing with other bills and expenses. Judge Judy sits back in her chair for a moment before delivering her decision. She explains that in small claims court, the most important factors are evidence and credibility. The bank transfer clearly shows Sarah sent Kevin $2,000, and the text messages clearly describe the money as a loan. Judge Judy says there is no evidence at all to support Kevin's claim that it was an investment. She looks directly at Kevin and says, "When someone helps you in a difficult moment and you promise to pay them back, that promise matters." She then turns slightly toward Sarah and announces her ruling. Judgment for the plaintiff, Sarah Mitchell, in the amount of $2,000. The gavel taps lightly on the bench as Judge Judy adds one final comment. "Next time, Mr. Brooks, if you want an investment partner, write a business plan. If you borrow money from a friend, pay it back." The bailiff calls the next case as Sarah leaves the courtroom relieved, while Kevin walks out quietly, realizing that in Judge Judy's courtroom, promises and proof always matter.